What happens when one of the most dangerous rivalries in the Middle East suddenly turns into a direct missile confrontation? Imagine waking up to the sound of air raid sirens, missiles flying across the sky, and a region already on edge moving one step closer to a wider war. This is exactly the situation unfolding after Iran launched a missile attack targeting Israel, an event that has shocked the world and sparked serious warnings from Israeli leaders, including Foreign Minister Gideon Saar. The attack has once again highlighted how fragile the security situation in the Middle East has become. According to reports from Israeli officials and international media, Iran launched multiple missiles toward Israeli territory, triggering emergency alarms across several areas. Air defense systems were immediately activated as the Israeli military worked quickly to track and intercept the incoming threats. Israel's missile defense systems, which include some of the most advanced technology in the world, were deployed to protect cities and civilian areas. These systems are designed to detect incoming missiles, calculate their trajectory, and intercept them before they reach their targets. While interceptions can reduce damage, every missile attack still creates fear and uncertainty among the population. Residents in several areas reportedly rushed to shelters as sirens echoed through cities and towns. Emergency services were placed on high alert, while security forces monitored the situation closely. For many civilians, moments like these are terrifying reminders of how quickly tensions can turn into real conflict. This missile attack represents a significant escalation in the long-standing conflict between Iran and Israel. For years, the rivalry between the two countries has played out in indirect ways. There has been cyber attacks, covert operations, intelligence battles, and confrontations through allied groups in different parts of the Middle East. Iran has long been accused by Israel of supporting armed groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon and other militias across the region. Israel, on the other hand, has carried out operations aimed at preventing Iran from expanding its military influence near Israeli borders. But a direct missile launch from Iran toward Israel crosses a line that many analysts say increases the risk of a much larger confrontation. When two powerful countries begin directly targeting each other, the chances of retaliation and escalation grow dramatically. Soon after the attack, Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar responded with a strong statement condemning Iran's actions. Saar described the missile launch as a dangerous act of aggression that threatens not only Israel, but also the stability of the entire Middle East. According to Saar, Iran's actions show a willingness to escalate conflict and challenge international security. He emphasized that Israel will always defend itself against threats and will take whatever steps are necessary to protect its citizens. In his remarks, Saar also urged the international community to take the situation seriously. He called on global leaders to recognize the threat posed by Iran's military activities and to respond firmly in order to prevent further escalation. The statement reflects Israel's long-standing position that Iran's military ambitions and regional activities represent a major security concern. Israeli leaders have repeatedly warned that Iran's missile program and its support for armed groups could destabilize the region. At the same time, Iran has often argued that its military capabilities are defensive and that it has the right to respond to what it views as threats from Israel and its allies. This deep mistrust between the two nations has fueled years of tension and confrontation. The latest missile attack comes at a time when the Middle East is already experiencing high levels of instability. Several ongoing conflicts, political rivalries, and security challenges have created a volatile environment in which even a single incident can trigger wider consequences. Security experts say that whenever Iran and Israel move closer to direct conflict, the entire region becomes more dangerous. other countries and armed groups could become involved, turning a limited confrontation into a broader regional crisis. For example, Hezbollah in Lebanon is considered one of the most powerful armed groups aligned with Iran. Any major conflict involving Israel could potentially draw Hezbollah into the situation, opening another front of fighting. Similarly, other regional actors might respond in ways that increase tensions further. This is why many international observers are concerned that the missile attack could become part of a larger chain of events. Military analysts also warn that modern missile technology has significantly increased the destructive potential of such attacks. Ballistic missiles can travel long distances and carry powerful warheads, making them a serious threat to cities and military installations. Although Israel has invested heavily in air defense systems such as Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow, no system can guarantee complete protection. Even a small number of missiles getting through could cause damage and casualties. Because of this, every missile launch is treated as a serious security event. Military forces must respond quickly, emergency services must prepare for potential impacts, and government leaders must consider how to respond strategically. International reactions to the incident have been cautious but concerned. Several governments and global organizations have called for restraint and urged both sides to avoid further escalation. Diplomatic efforts are often activated during moments like these, as world leaders try to prevent conflicts from spreading. The Middle East plays a critical role in global security, energy supplies, and international trade routes, so instability in the region can have far-reaching consequences. For this reason, many countries prefer to see tensions reduced through dialogue rather than military confrontation. However, achieving de-escalation can be extremely difficult when both sides feel threatened and pressured to respond. Another factor that makes the situation complex is the long history of hostility between Iran and Israel. The two countries have been strategic rivals for decades, and their political leaders frequently accuse each other of aggression and destabilizing actions. Israel views Iran's nuclear ambitions and missile programs as serious threats. Israeli officials have repeatedly stated they will not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. Iran, however, insists that its nuclear program is intended for peaceful purposes and has criticized Israel's policies in the region. This deep disagreement has created one of the most intense geopolitical rivalries in the world. Because of this background, any military action between the two countries carries enormous symbolic and strategic weight. A missile attack is not just a tactical event, it is also a political signal that tensions are reaching dangerous levels. Experts say that the coming days will be extremely important. Much will depend on how Israel chooses to respond and whether diplomatic efforts can reduce the risk of further attacks. If retaliation occurs, the situation could escalate quickly. Both Iran and Israel have powerful military capabilities, including advanced missile systems, air forces, and intelligence networks. A prolonged confrontation could disrupt the entire region and create new security challenges for neighboring countries. It could also impact global markets and international politics. For civilians living in the region, however, the immediate concern is safety. Every missile alert, every siren, and every military warning creates anxiety for families who simply want to live their lives in peace. The latest events serve as another reminder of how fragile peace can be in a region marked by decades of conflict and rivalry. While governments debate strategy and diplomacy, ordinary people often bear the emotional and physical consequences of escalating tensions. As the world continues to monitor the situation, many leaders are urging calm and responsible decision-making. The hope is that diplomacy, dialogue, and international pressure can prevent the crisis from turning into a larger war. But for now, uncertainty remains high. With missiles launched, defense systems activated, and political warnings intensifying, the confrontation between Iran and Israel appears to be entering a new and dangerous phase. Whether the situation stabilizes or escalates further will depend on the decisions made in the coming days. One thing is clear: the entire world is watching closely as this critical moment in Middle Eastern geopolitics continues to unfold.